Hi, my name is Rabbi Shmuel Metzger here at Chabad Sutton, back for another fireside chat. There was a Rebbe, a Hasidic master in the late 18th century. His name was Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, and he was the Rebbe, the Hasidic master, and the rabbi of the city of Bardichev. And he's a very famous rabbi, and he's famous as someone who always loved his fellow Jew and always saw other people in a favorable way. Really a paragon of Avas Yisrael. In Bardichev, there are the Jews, and in general, the Jews of that generation, they basically lived below the level of subsistence. They could basically barely eke out a living, and that's how they lived. They were very pious, and they had faith in God, and they made their way somehow. In the city of Bardichev, there was a fellow, we'll call him Yankel, and basically what this fellow did for a living was, he was a badchen. A badchen is basically a comedian slash jester who makes his living by like a comedian and does his little shtick at weddings, bar mitzvahs, and other affairs. And he basically eked out a little living by weaving some poetry, making some comedy. And that's what he did. And so it was that he was at one wedding and he was doing his shtick. And this time he felt like he was really on. Everyone was eating out of his hand. He was really performing. The performance was going amazing. And he decided he's going to pull something out of his little comedy toolbox that he had never done before. Now, a little background here is that Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Bardichev, when he would pray for the Jewish people, the beginning of the Amidah starts off the special prayer for livelihood. And the words are Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, that God gives sustenance to his people in kindness. And when he would get to that part of the prayer, he would get very emotional every single time and think of all the children, starving children and poverty and the general situation that they were going through. And he would scream on top of his lungs with great emotion, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed. He would scream, and it was really a sight to behold. And this was sort of what he did every single time, because he really loved his community, and he was basically pleading with God that they can have a livelihood. So this fellow Yankel decided, because he also was a pretty good mimic, that he's going to mimic the Rebbe. So he says, guys, I have a great thing I'm going to do, never done before. And he jumps up and he screams, B'chalkel Chayim B'chesed. He opens his eyes and no one's laughing. And he realizes that, some things are beyond the pale and some things are just simply not funny. And he realized, boy, did he drop the ball. And he messed up. And the news that this fellow had made fun of the great tzaddik spread around the town like wildfire. And the community got together and they decided that this guy is a pariah. He's out, and they're going to excommunicate him. And this fellow decided that he decided he's going to ask forgiveness from the tzaddik. He realized he made a mistake. So it was late at night, and the town was sleeping, and he went with his little candle through the streets of Bardichev, and everyone's sleeping, but the tzaddik was up because he had a candle. He would study Torah all night, and he knocks on the door, and the tzaddik greets him with a big smile, and he says, how can I help you? And he says, listen, I did something very foolish. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. I didn't mean it. It's disrespectful. Will you accept my apology? The Rebbe says with a big smile, of course. What's even the question? The Rebbe tells him, why don't you sit down for a tea? So he says, sure. Now, the tzaddik Rabbi Yitzchak Bardichev had already heard the news, and he said, to be quite honest with you, I heard you did an amazing job. You really know how to imitate me. You did a spectacular job. Would you be so kind to do the Mechalkel Chayim B'chesed for me? So he said, no, it's disrespectful. He said, nah, I hear you did an amazing job. Come on, go for it. So he said, okay, you want it, you get it. He jumped out of his seat and he screamed, Mechalkel Chayim B'chesed. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Bardichev burst out laughing. He said, perfect. And he took out his little his quill and his little papyrus or whatever paper he had there, and he said like this. This is perfect. My suggestion to you is that you don't just do this little routine here in Barditchev. You should take this on the road. You're going to make a living out of this. And he wrote on a little piece of paper that I hereby, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, the son of Sarah Sasha, writes that this fellow should do Mechalka Chayim Shali. He should do this prayer, my prayer, of sustenance and livelihood in order that he can have sustenance for his family. And so, my dear friends, this time of year, there's a special emphasis on Avas Yisrael and love for each other, and especially during this pandemic, we're all in this together. It's a time to unite and to transcend our differences. In the parlance of Hasidic thought, there's a concept called bittul, which means to get